Very good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. All the big stories from India and across the world coming up, including all the news on the budget session of Parliament. Let us start with the headlines. Rajya Sabha to discuss recent law and order situation in some parts of Delhi today. Union Home Minister Amit Shah replies to the discussion in Lok Sabha, calls Delhi riots pre-planned, says those involved won't be spared. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Bill 2020 and Mineral Laws Amendment Bill 2020 listed for consideration and passing in the upper house. Discussion on the working of 4 ministries also listed. Major Ports Authorities Bill 2020 to be introduced in Lok Sabha. World Health Organization declares coronavirus outbreak a global pandemic. Death toll 4,500. US suspends travel from Europe for 30 days. Italy unveils $28.3 billion virus rescue plan. More than 60 people in India affected by coronavirus. India suspends all visas till 15th of April, bars entry of cruise ships with travel history to COVID hit the nations till 31st of March. Air India suspends flights to 3 cities. Government considers more evacuations from Italy, Iran. And former Hollywood movie producer Harvey Weinstein sentenced to 23 years in prison in sexual assault and rape case, ruling hailed as a victory for Me Too movement. Let's first talk about the budget session. A look at the legislative business in the upper house today. The Rajya Sabha will discuss the recent law and order situation in some parts of Delhi today. A short duration discussion in this regard will be raised by MPs Kapil Sibal, Rajmani Patel, Digvijay Singh, Vivek Tankha, Sudhanshu Trivedi, Vijay Goel and Vinay Sahasrabudhe. In some other legislative business, the House will take up the National Commission for Indian System of Medicine Bill listed for consideration and passing. This bill aims to provide for a medical education system that improves access to quality and affordable medical education and promotes equitable and universal health care that makes medical services accessible to all citizens. Union Minister Shripad Yesso Naik will move the National Commission for Homeopathy Bill 2019 aimed to ensure the availability of adequate and high-quality homeopathy medical professionals for consideration and passing. The House will also take up the Central Sanskrit Universities Bill 2019 for consideration and passing. This bill is intended to convert 3 deemed to be Sanskrit universities into Central Sanskrit Universities. Minister Prahlad Joshi will move the Mineral Laws Amendment Bill 2020 for consideration and passing, which is aimed to amend the Coal Mines Special Provisions Act 2015 as passed by the Lok Sabha. The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Bill 2020 is also listed for consideration and passing. The bill will be moved by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, and it aims to amend the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016 as passed by Lok Sabha. Union Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will also move the Direct Tax Vivad Se Vishwas Bill 2020 in the House for consideration and return. The House is also slated to take up discussion on the working of the Ministry of Railways to be moved by TMC MP Derek O'Brien, discussion on the working of the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises to be moved by DMK MP Tiruchi Siva, discussion on the working of the Ministry of Law and Justice to be raised by BJP MP Bhupendra Yadav, and discussion on the working of the Ministry of Rural Development and Agriculture to be moved by Congress MP Pratap Singh Bajwa. All right, Kriti Mishra is now joining us live from Parliament. A very good morning, Kriti. Kriti, we saw that a very important discussion on the situation in Delhi. The recent law and order situation really took place in Lok Sabha, and we saw Union Home Minister Amit Shah replying to that discussion as well. And today, this discussion is going to take place in the upper house. And apart from that, there is a huge legislative business that we can see in the House's agenda. There is very important insolvency and bankruptcy code amendment bill as well. Tell us more. How do you look at the day really panning out in Rajya Sabha?
Well, absolutely, Aishwarya. Yesterday in the Lok Sabha, Home Minister replied to the discussion on the law and order situation in some parts of Delhi. He also vowed that none of the perpetrators or the culprits would be spared, irrespective of their religion or political affiliation. He also said that prima facie, the violence looks like it's a conspiracy which was pre-planned. Now, today in the Rajya Sabha, a very important discussion, which is a short duration discussion, will take place on the issue of law and order situation in some parts of the Delhi. Remember, the opposition members had been insisting on this discussion, and the government said that it is willing to discuss this issue post-Holi. In fact, Chairman has also appealed to all sides to ensure that there's peace and normalcy, and he also said that all sides must endeavour and strive to ensure that such incidents do not occur in future and preventive measures must be taken. So today the House will discuss this issue, and thereafter Home Minister will reply to this very important discussion. But remember, yesterday also we saw that there's concurrence among all political parties to ensure the two important bills for which ordinance was promulgated by the government, including the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Second Amendment Bill 2019 and also the Mineral Laws Amendment Bill, that would be discussed in the first half. Remember, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Second Amendment Bill paves the way for better resolution and also for better implementation of the code and to remove the ambiguities. And as far as the Mineral Laws Amendment Bill is concerned, it paves way for commercial coal mining in the country and also ensure ease of doing business and also to attract greater FDI in the coal sector. So these are two important bills that will be taken up in the Rajya Sabha, and thereafter there would be discussion also on the ministries of several ministries, including the Railways, Law and Justice, MSME, Rural Development and Agriculture as well. Aishwarya?
All right, Kriti, stay with us. We'll just come back to you because we also need to discuss about Lok Sabha. Well, the Major Port Authorities Bill 2020 is listed for introduction by Union Minister Mansukh Lal Mandavia. This bill aims to provide for regulation, operation and the planning of major ports in India and to vest the administration, control and management of such ports upon the boards of major port authorities. Also listed for consideration and passing is the Aircraft Amendment Bill 2020 to amend the Aircraft Act 1934. This bill will be moved by Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri. Also, discussion and voting on demands for grants for 4 ministries is also listed in today's business. These include the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and the Ministry of Railways. And Home Minister Amit Shah on Wednesday vowed not to spare anyone involved in the Delhi violence, irrespective of their religion, caste or party affiliation. Replying to a discussion in the Lok Sabha on the Delhi violence, Amit Shah said that prima facie, the violence appears to be a pre-planned conspiracy. The minister said that around 60 social media accounts were created on 22nd of February and were closed down on 26th of February. He added that 1,100 rioters had been identified with the help of face identification software. While expressing grief over the death of the people in the violence, Amit Shah said that Delhi police succeeded in controlling the violence within 36 hours.
सोशल मीडिया के माध्यम से लगभग 60 अकाउंट ऐसे मिले जो 22 के दिन शुरू हुए और 26 के दिन बंद हो गए। 60 अकाउंट, और वो क्या समझते हैं बंद करने से बच जाएंगे क्या? जहां पर भी है पुलिस ढूंढ कर निकालेगी, ढूंढ कर निकालेगी। मान्यवर 25 मामले हमने आईटी एक्ट के तहत दर्ज कर चुके हैं, उनको भी ढूंढ के निकालेंगे। मान्यवर, हमने विज्ञापन और सोशल मीडिया से भी अफवाहों से दूर रहने का हमने किया। मान्यवर, पैसा भी दिल्ली में पहुंचाया गया है, ये भी षड्यंत्र का हिस्सा है। हम इसकी तह तक जाएंगे। इसकी रिसीव करने वाले लोगों को पुलिस ने अरेस्ट कर लिया है, मगर पैसा भी पहुंचाया गया, सोशल मीडिया से भड़काया गया।
And earlier, leaders cutting across party lines condemned the Delhi violence.
इस दंगे में बंदूक और गोलाबारी से भी कहीं अधिक घातक साबित हुआ। आप मुझे बताइए, किसके घर के ऊपर लोहे के एंगल को जमाकर गुलेल रखी जाती है और एक साजिश के तहत हर 10वें घर के ऊपर एक गुलेल पाई गई, हर 10वें घर को इंगित करके गुलेल पाई गई और ईंटों का जखीरा शायद दिल्ली ने पहले कभी नहीं देखा था। ऐसा ईंटों का जखीरा जो है वो भी यहाँ पे पाया गया कि निगम के सफाई कर्मचारियों को समझ नहीं आया कि ये सड़क बनाने की कुवैत है कि बोरियों में भरकर उनको ऊपर ले जाया गया।
दंगा में ना हिंदू का जय होते हैं, ना मुसलमान का विजय होते हैं, लेकिन इंसानियत जरूर पराजय होते हैं। पराजय अगर होते हैं तो इंसानियत की पराजय होते हैं। तो ये दंगा में, दिल्ली की दंगा में अगर किसी को पराजय हुए हैं, वो हमारा इंसानियत की पराजय है।
मैं नहीं करना चाहता हूं, लेकिन ये जानना चाहता हूं कि क्या डोनाल्ड ट्रंप के दौरे के उस वक्त में अपने देश में हिंसा निर्माण करे और उनको दिखा दे कि भारत में शांति नहीं है। ऐसी एजेंसी जो अपने देश में काम करने वाली है, उनका खोज करना, उनके ऊपर पाबंदी लाना अपने सारे एजेंसी का काम है, शासनकर्ता का भी काम है। जब वहां पाकिस्तान के आतंकवादी अड्डे उद्ध्वस्त करने में हमारी सेना सफल होती है, तो दिल्ली में ये आतंकवादी कार्रवाई करने वाले लोगों को पाबंदी लाने में असफलता क्यों प्राप्त हुई, ये हमें जानकारी करने का हमारा अधिकार है।
Continuing the lineage of Dr. Y.S. Rajshekhar Reddy Garu, who was a strong votary of religious tolerance, his son Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy Garu and our party are of the firm belief that God is one and there is no place for religious intolerance. Sir, firm action should be taken against those who are trying to whip up religious passions and bring in hatred in the name of religion or God.
All right, let's go back to Kriti Mishra, who's joining us live from Parliament. Kriti, talking about Lok Sabha, what we are seeing here is a huge legislative agenda for the day. There is this major port authorities bill that is listed for introduction. There are other bills as well. There is also going to be, discussion on and voting on demands for grants for 4 ministries. But yesterday we saw a very productive debate as far as the Delhi violence issue is concerned. And, the opposition parties had been saying that this is a debate that we really want to have. Only then, the legislative agenda can move ahead. And now that discussion is over, can we expect, the clearing of major bills in the lower house?
Well, absolutely, Aishwarya. Remember, budget session is a very important session because the government seeks to ensure the passage of budget as well as discussion on demands for grants for various ministries. Now, talking about the legislative agenda, and yesterday how we saw a productive discussion taking place, and thereafter Home Minister Amit Shah replying to the various concerns of the members. So today we expected that normal proceedings of the House would resume. And talking about the legislative agenda, as you've mentioned, a very important bill is listed for introduction, which is the Major Ports Authorities bill that would be introduced in the lower house today, that provides for more flexibility and autonomy in the port sector and also seeks to repeal the Major Ports Trust Act, which is of 1963. Thereafter, there's another important bill which has which is listed for discussion, which is the Aircraft Amendment Bill. Remember, this bill seeks to enhance the security and safety in India's civil aviation space and also ensure increasing of efficacy in various departments and also all different angles of the Ministry of Civil Aviation. So these are 2 important bills that are slated to be taken up, and also there would be discussion of demands for grants for various ministries, including the ministries of tourism, social justice and empowerment, and also external affairs and health and family welfare. So heavy legislative agenda as far as the lower house is concerned. Over to you, Aishwarya.
Kriti, thank you so much for all those updates there from Parliament. And let's get you some other news now. The BJP has named 11 candidates for the upcoming Rajya Sabha elections. Now, these include 2 candidates from the allies. Soon after Jyotiraditya Scindia joined the BJP on Wednesday, the party named him as its Rajya Sabha candidate from Madhya Pradesh for the elections to be held on 26th of March. And other candidates named by the BJP included Bhuvneshwar Kalita from Assam, Vivek Thakur from Bihar, Deepak Prakash from Jharkhand, Rajendra Gehlot from Rajasthan. The party has announced Abhay Bharadwaj and Ramilaben Bara from Gujarat, as well as Uday Raje Bhonsle from Maharashtra. The BJP has also said that it has allotted 2 seats to its allies, with the Dalit leader and Union Minister Ramdas Athavale getting re-nominated from Maharashtra and Biswajit Daimeri of Bodoland People's Front to contest from Assam. And earlier, several candidates filed their nominations for the elections to 55 seats in the Rajya Sabha across 17 states to be held on 26th of March. NCP chief Sharad Pawar filed his nomination in Mumbai for the Rajya Sabha election. The former union minister filed his nomination in the Vidhan Bhavan complex. He was accompanied by NCP leaders from the state. JMM President Shibu Soren also filed his nomination papers for the upcoming upper house elections in Jharkhand. Polling for 2 of the total 6 Rajya Sabha seats from Jharkhand will be held on 26th of March. Meanwhile, BJP candidates also filed their nomination papers for 4 Rajya Sabha seats. These included Suhas Singh, Munna Khan, Sujit Kumar and Mamta Mahanta filed their nomination papers in the presence of BJD chief Naveen Patnaik. The last date for filing of nominations is 13th of March. The main national event for the International Day of Yoga will be held in Leh, the capital of Ladakh this year. The event, to be held on 21st of June, will be led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with an anticipated gathering of 15 to 20,000 people on the Yoga Day at Leh. Ayush Minister Shripad Yesso Naik said that the event promises to be unique and different since a large congregation for yoga will be taking place at a high altitude in a location like Leh for the first time.
Congregation of yoga will be taking place in high altitude location like Leh for the first time. A 45 minutes yoga drill based on a common yoga protocol is the highlights of the observation of International Day of Yoga. The PM is expected to carry out the Yogasana based on common yoga protocol along with the anticipated gathering of 15,000 to 20,000 people on the Yoga Day.
News from Madhya Pradesh, where the government is in crisis after Jyotiraditya Scindia joined the BJP on Wednesday. 22 other Congress MLAs, mostly Scindia loyalists, also quit soon after him. Scindia ended his nearly 2-decade-long association with the Congress party and was inducted into BJP by President JP Nadda. After joining BJP, Scindia hailed Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership and said that the country's future is secure in his hands. Remember, the Kamal Nath government is scrambling really to guard its flock, sending several Congress MLAs for safekeeping to Jaipur. The Madhya Pradesh government has a thin majority of just 4 above the majority mark of the 116. If the resignations of the 22 MLAs are accepted, the party will lose power in the state. 22 MLAs who revolted against the Kamal Nath government are in Bengaluru. The BJP has also sent its MLAs out of Bhopal to Gurugram. And now an update on Yes Bank crisis, and the bank's founder Rana Kapoor's ED custody has been extended till 16th of March. During the hearing at a Mumbai court, Enforcement Directorate officials informed that Kapoor had sanctioned loans worth 30,000 crore rupees to various entities, out of which loans worth 20,000 crore rupees had turned into bad debt. The ED sought extension of his custody to probe the rationale behind sanctioning these loans and alleged money laundering charges. The 62-year-old former MD and CEO of Yes Bank, Rana Kapoor, was arrested on Sunday under the provisions of Prevention of Money Laundering Act, a day after the RBI imposed a moratorium on the capital-starved private lender. Now an update on the coronavirus situation in India. 67 people have been confirmed to be infected by coronavirus, with fresh cases reported in Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Kerala and Karnataka. Maharashtra has reported 10 cases of the virus, 2 of them in Mumbai, 8 in Pune. More than 40 first contacts of the 5 coronavirus patients have been placed under observation in Maharashtra. 3 cases have been detected in Jaipur, 2 of them being Italians and a third an Indian national who came back from Dubai. Meanwhile, the centre has invoked Section 10 of the Disaster Management Act and asked all the states to invoke Section 2 of the Epidemic Diseases Act. The coronavirus scares has also forced a closure of schools and colleges in parts of the country. Delhi has shut its primary schools till 31st of March. Kashmir and Ladakh has also shut its schools and colleges, and the Indian Institute of Management has postponed its annual convocation. As the cases of coronavirus in the country are sharply spiking and the World Health Organization has declared it a pandemic, the government has suspended all visas. The Union Health Ministry said that all existing visas except diplomatic, official and UN or international organizations, employment and project visas will be suspended till 15th of April. This will come into effect from 1200 GMT from 13th of March at the port of departure. Read a communique issued late on Wednesday night after a meeting of the group of ministers headed by Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan. It also said that all incoming travellers, including Indian nationals from COVID-19 nations, China, Italy, Iran, Korea, France, Spain and Germany, after 15th of February, shall be quarantined for a minimum of 14 days. And earlier also, visa facilities had been partially suspended from the COVID-19 nations, countries where the virus is on a rampage. Also, international traffic through land borders will also be restricted to designated checkposts with robust screening facilities. Meanwhile, national carrier Air India on Wednesday night also announced a temporary suspension of its flight services to Rome, Milan and Seoul. While services to Rome, that is Italy, are being discontinued from 15th to 25th of March, flight operations to Milan and Seoul in South Korea will remain suspended between 14th of March and 26th of March. The government on Wednesday also said that any international cruise ship, crew or passenger with a travel history to the coronavirus-affected countries beginning 1st of February will be barred from entering all major ports in our country till 31st of March. The shipping ministry said that only those international cruise ships which had planned and intimated their call to an Indian port not later than 1st of January will be allowed to call on such port. Meanwhile, India is also focusing its efforts on bringing back its nationals from Iran and Italy, where the outbreak of COVID-19 has been most severe. Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar said on Wednesday, describing the situation in both the countries as extreme. Responding to the concerns raised by the members of parliaments in Rajya Sabha on the evolving COVID-19 situation in the world and Indian nationals, including all stranded students, pilgrims and fishermen, Jaishankar said that the National Democratic Alliance government would try to fly out a medical team to Italy, where more than 100 Indians were awaiting certificates that they were free of infection to return home. And the World Health Organization has declared the novel coronavirus outbreak as a pandemic. This is defined as a disease that is spreading in multiple countries around the world at the same time. WHO chief said that the number of cases outside China had increased 13-fold in 2 weeks. He said he was deeply concerned by the alarming levels of infection. This as global infections are over 126,000 now, with the majority of cases being reported in China. Meanwhile, Italy, the worst affected country outside China, announced tough new restrictions. It will close all shops except food stores and pharmacies as part of its nationwide lockdown. Italy on Wednesday also vowed to spend up to $28.3 billion plan to fight coronavirus. Half of these resources would be used immediately and the other half would be used later should the health crisis spiral out of control. Italy has more than 12,000 confirmed cases and a death toll of 827. Nearly 900 people with the virus in Italy were in intensive care. And US President Donald Trump has announced sweeping new travel restrictions on Europe in a bid to combat the spread of coronavirus. In a televised address, he said that all travel from European countries would be suspended for the next 30 days. There are 1,135 confirmed cases of virus across the United States with 38 deaths.
I have decided to take several strong but necessary actions to protect the health and well-being of all Americans. To keep new cases from entering our shores, we will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days. The new rules will go into effect Friday at midnight. These restrictions will be adjusted subject to conditions on the ground. There will be exemptions for Americans who have undergone appropriate screenings, and these prohibitions will not only apply to the tremendous amount of trade and cargo, but various other things as we get approval. Anything coming from Europe to the United States is what we are discussing. These restrictions will also not apply to the United Kingdom.
Meanwhile, China is limping back to normalcy with the selective opening of businesses in the worst-hit Wuhan city, a day after President Xi Jinping's first visit to Hubei province. This even as 22 new fatalities were recorded in Wuhan, taking the death toll to 3,158. Officials in Beijing on Wednesday also tightened up quarantine checks at the airports and epidemic prevention measures in foreign communities. Let's get you some other news now. In a case hailed as a victory for the Me Too movement against sexual misconduct, former Hollywood movie producer Harvey Weinstein was sentenced to 23 years in prison on Wednesday. The sentence was handed down in Manhattan Criminal Court following his sexual assault and rape conviction last month. Once one of Hollywood's most influential producers, Weinstein had faced the possibility of a maximum sentence of 29 years in prison. More than 100 women, including famous actresses, accused Weinstein of sexual misconduct stretching back decades, fueling the hashtag #MeToo movement against sexual abuse and harassment. Time for all the sporting action now. And Indian boxer Manish Kaushik in 63 kg category became the 9th Indian boxer to qualify for Tokyo Olympics. Kaushik qualified after a 4-1 win at the Asian qualifiers in Jordan against Harrison Garcia of Australia. And now let's talk about environment and climate change. UN Chief Antonio Guterres has warned that the world is currently nowhere near meeting the 1.5 or 2 degrees Celsius targets that Paris Agreement of 2015 calls for. The latest UN climate report shows that climate change has a major effect on all aspects of the environment as well as on the health and the well-being of the global population. The report documents physical signs of climate change such as increasing land and ocean heat, accelerating sea level rise and melting ice, along with the effect on socio-economic development, human health, migration and displacement, food security, and land and marine ecosystems. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.